The movie is called American History X, and it's controversial and brutal in its portrayal of skinhead violence.
Drop your weapon!
But a young man who could have been the inspiration for the film says Hollywood can't touch the real thing.
If it's as violent as the real skinhead movement and as hateful as it really is, I mean, I think some people won't even be able to stand and sit in the same room.
Frank Meeink is a former skinhead. How did they indoctrinate you once you felt good about being part of the group? What sort of philosophy did they impart on you?
Well, they give you a lot of stuff. When you read the stuff that Aryan Nations gives you, okay, and you have these pamphlets, and being a 13, 14-year-old kid, you're reading this stuff and you're thinking that you're unlocking something, that you now have this power to go out and debate about your beliefs, you know, and when you get that type of stuff and you're so proud of being a skinhead, you know what I mean, it all like ties them together to make you believe it, you know what I mean, because you want to believe it. You want to believe everything that you're reading.
Because it gives you power?
It gives you power to debate, you know.
And they gave you pamphlets that they claimed were written by Harvard professors to legitimize them somehow.
Right, and it was always like a fact, but just with a twist on it.
Yeah.
Some kind of Zionist twist, as they would say.
So everything, the dialogue was just filled with hate?
Yeah. Everything.
Hate everyone except for white people?
Right. And most of our violence, I mean, as a skinhead, I can say in the 5 years I was a skinhead, I can 300 acts of violence, and almost half of them were against white people too. So we hate everybody. I mean, the whole movement. If you're not one of us, we don't like you.
How would you be able to rationalize these acts of violence that you committed, and you would treat these individuals who were the subject of these attacks not as human beings, correct?
No, not at all. The whole point was that when our crew, say we were all in Philly and we went out to go do something to somebody, we just wanted to get a name out there that, you know, the Philly skinheads are the craziest, and you know, I mean, if you
like to be considered crazy,
sure,
insane.
I mean, we all had tattoos. I got tattoos on my head. I mean, I just got tattoos taken off my neck. So it's a whole part of that, you know, looking, you know, the intimidating look, and you know, I mean, like my knuckles are permanently stuck in the back of my hand from fighting so much as a kid, you know.
You would drink a lot before you went out and committed these acts.
Almost all skinheads. That's mostly all skinhead get-togethers, or 4 or 5 skinheads getting a case of beer, a couple cases of beer, getting drunk and going out and looking for easy victims. That's what they call them, easy victims.
They try to say they just love the white race, which is a crock, because it's all about hatred. I mean, completely, it's all about hatred. Beating up homeless people, gay people. We beat up white people. We beat up everyone. You know, anyone that wasn't in our movement or part of our movement was a potential victim.
He spent 3 years behind bars for beating a man senseless and videotaping it. But it was another hate crime that shocked him to his senses.
I had a daughter who I never really got to see. And then when the Oklahoma City bombing happened, and with the little kids dying, and just to hear that this came from the movement that I knew, I was just really broken up. I cried a lot. And the guy running down the street with the baby in his arms, and it just got to me.
These days, he's undergoing regular laser treatments to erase his skinhead tattoos, and he seems willing to spend the rest of his life, if that's what it takes, to wipe away his own ugly past.
Well, I think I hated myself. I just was really hateful, and they just showed me where to direct my hate to.
He now runs a hockey program to keep teens out of trouble, and he travels the country talking to high school kids. Frank has some unlikely fans, too. Attorney Michael Bonney is from the Philly chapter of the Anti-Defamation League. He met the reformed skinhead when Frank was lecturing at, of all places, a Jewish community center. The two formed a unique friendship.
It's interesting that a Jewish lawyer and a former neo-Nazi skinhead can have grown to become such good friends, and that's been very valuable to both Frank and me.
So the best thing I could do now is my actions, you know, do what I can to help kids that can go down that same route as me, you know. Maybe help them out, maybe they won't do it to somebody else, you know.